Greetings and welcome to the sort of inaugural episode of Oblivion House Mod Hunters. The sort of concept here behind this series is to take a look at 3 random house mods each week, showcasing their locations, features, and general style. And we'll also be looking at house mods in 3 different categories specifically: popular house mods, new house mods, and underrated house mods. In addition, we'll also be doing a variety of large, small, and medium-sized house mods in each lineup to sort of give you guys a bit of a variety. And as for why I'm making this series, the fact of the matter is that it takes a really long time to make an episode of Oblivion modding showcases. So many episodes like this are a bit easier to produce, and there's also a ton of house mods out there, more than we could ever cover in a series like Oblivion modding showcases. And for that matter, everyone needs a house mod, or maybe not everyone, but you know, a lot of people like to use house mods because they're just very convenient. So this format allows us to look at a number of house mods at once, providing you, the viewer, with some real estate options if you're on the market for a new player home. And with that said, why don't we just go ahead and get started with our popular house mod, which is Red Rose Manor by Emma, arguably one of the most popular house mods ever made for Oblivion. And since this is our first episode, I thought I'd just start us off with a bang to sort of get some momentum going. And Red Rose Manor is a rather scenic estate sitting upon a hill on the edge of Lake Rumere, and it's a fairly imposing old manor in the sort of traditional style of European manors, or to be more lore appropriate, it sort of invokes the ruined forts that one finds scattered around Cyrodiil. And regardless, there's an absolutely beautiful garden surrounding the estate, with vines climbing the walls and rose bushes bordering the property, and it really is quite simply scenic. And to add to that scenery, Red Rose Manor has a one-of-a-kind view of the Imperial City. Right from the manor's front steps, you'll be treated to an absolutely stunning view of the capital of the Empire. And as one might imagine, the commute to the Imperial City here from this property is quite short, and there's also a map marker provided for instant teleportation whenever you desire. Now, a major caveat with this manor is that it is not free. One must first complete a quest of sorts, which starts in the Mages Guild in Skinnengrad, and ends crawling through a dungeon and fighting monsters to find a key. And even after you do that, you're still not quite done, as the manor is a bit of a fixer-upper with a ghost infestation. Once all said and done though, this manor is yours for the taking, with a lovely main entry hall where you'll find the manor's main dining area, and also a small kitchen with a rather interesting stone fireplace, and a small seating and display area to the side with some positively nicely placed flower vines. And something you'll notice here is that this is indeed Stroti's Manor resource, a modders resource that Stroti released a few years ago, and that might be why it looks familiar to some of you. And on the second floor, you'll find the master bedroom, which includes a roaring fireplace with a massive set of arms, and a small study space nearby with a couple of bookshelves, and there's naturally also some seating where you can appreciate the warmth of the fire as well. And connected to the master bedroom here by a staircase is a rather large attic, and this can basically act as a large guest room, capable of providing beds for a number of companions that you might have, and there's also a small magic lab up here in the corner. And as you might expect from such a grand abode, there's a number of amenities included, such as a fully functional spellmaking and chanting altar, and the magic lab, as well as a number of Oblivion crafting related services, like spinning wheels to create yarn, and looms to create cloth. There's also a cellar attached to this property, which includes a sort of smithy shop that you can use to repair items or create new weapons and armor using, again, these sort of Oblivion crafting services. And naturally, as with any grand abode, there's quite a few spirits down here, though not the spectral kind, of course, but more the drinkable kind, with lots of wine racks and some Oblivion crafting items for creating your own wine, if you should so desire. Also, perhaps unsurprisingly given the nature of this estate, there's a cave right below the property with an alchemy ingredient garden where you can pick ingredients to sort of brew your potions with, and also a sort of natural pool that one could take a bath in if they so desired. The water does look pretty warm and inviting. And sort of the last thing here is that this manor does indeed come with a teleport chamber to every city in Cyrodiil, though you may need to find a magic crystal ball first for it to work. And all in all, this is a large estate that comes equipped with a wide array of services such as Oblivion crafting, enchanting and spellmaking altars, extra beds for companions, and an ingredient garden, and there's also a map marker for convenience, and the home is located right near the Imperial City for an easy commute into the capital. And this is really just one of the most feature-complete house mods out there that provides the perfect home for players who enjoy scenic, older-styled estates. But moving on with our new house mod, we have Lone Wolf Cottage by Spokorni, and that name might be a bit familiar with my Morrowind viewers, as Spokorni was a big castle mod author back in the Morrowind days. And Lone Wolf Cottage is a secluded player home in the forest of Cyrodiil, situated right next to a rather scenic little pond and waterfall, and the cottage itself is a sort of traditional woodland rustic cabin with a lovely garden and outdoor seating area, as well as a stables and workshop and a well for drawing water, and really just everything about this home seems to exemplify the sort of rough and isolated living of the back country. And when I do say isolated, I mean isolated. Lone Wolf Cottage is far from any major cities. Breville is probably the closest town of any note, and it's hardly the center of culture and sophistication. The Imperial City, on the other hand, is the second closest, and it's a pretty long commute to be frank, and luckily there's a map marker here though that you can use to get back and forth to this home in the woods with relative ease. And it should be pointed out that this house actually comes with a mark and recall spell, so you can travel back here at any time from any position in Cyrodiil. And moving on to the interior side of things, the interior of this lovely home is a bit on the small side, but it's well suited for a sort of cabin in the wood style home, with a small entry hall that's attached to the cabin's main room, which is a sort of study, lounge, and kitchen all in one, including a large fireplace with a roaring fire that you can cozy up to. There's also a small second floor that acts as a master bedroom overlooking the lounge and kitchen. And something to note about this home is that it actually has some dynamic lighting settings. During the day, the light will pour in from the windows, while at night, things will darken. And this house mod also features on-off light sources, so you can decide which lights you want on at any particular time. Now, a major feature of this house is that it comes with a lot of name storage for just about everything, making it easy to organize your items with visual containers like stacks of scrolls, books, and potions that you can actually sort your items into. And much like Red Rose Manor, Lone Wolf Cabin comes with a wide array of Oblivion crafting options, including a spinning wheel and other features scattered across the house. And you'll also find a large array of sorters for just about everything like drinks, books, potions, and even the dishes. You can enable and disable these sorters as you please, and this just makes the task of sorting your inventory into containers all that easier. And the property also comes with a full-scale basement, including a small guest bedroom for companions, and also some dining space for enjoying a good meal. And there's even a bathroom attached down here with a soap dispenser for hygiene, and a bath that gives you a number of positive status effects. There's nothing quite like a hot bath to take your mind off things. And this last room here is a sort of workshop with a smithy attached, and once again, you'll find a number of different Oblivion crafting items scattered around here for creating your own armor, weapons, and also repairing your items all in one go. And it should be noted that this property does come with a display hall, but you'll have to unlock it first through a small series of quests involving the Daedric Lord of the Hunt. And something else I'd just like to point out here is that whenever you turn on the lights in the house, the corresponding windows on the exterior actually light up, adding a nice little detail for immersion purposes. And all in all, this is a quaint and rustic home that, while somewhat inconveniently located from any major sources of civilization, has just about everything you need otherwise, with a large array of features and services like Oblivion crafting, usable light fixtures, item sorters, and named containers for organization. While certainly a bit on the small side as far as house mods go, Lone Wolf Cabin more than makes up for it with a beautiful environment and more than enough convenience services to satisfy just about anyone. Next up we have our final house mod that we're going to be taking a look at, and that's the underrated house mod, which this time around is going to be Bond Skyship by Bond. This is obviously a vastly different type of house mod from the last two that we've been looking at. Far from being a traditional home, this is actually a rocket ship flying far above the landscapes of Cyrodiil that can be used as a sort of out-of-reach player home, away from the chaos of the mere mortals down below. and the exterior of this ship is a rather lovely combination of small gardens and seating arrangements that allow you to really appreciate the views of Cyrodiil. And really you can see quite a lot of Cyrodiil from up here, including the cities of Kvatch and Skinnengrad, and the ship on the whole also has a rather nice white and green and gold paint colour scheme, making it a bit unique among the ships of the Imperial Province. Well, that and the fact that it flies. And of course this does pose a bit of a safety risk, as there's no real guardrails in place, and making for a very long and potentially vertigo-inducing fall to one's demise. Always remember to use caution when walking around a skyship. Now, in order to get to your new skyship, you're going to have to enter through a portal in Anvil, and as you can see from this map here, this skyship really doesn't have a map marker to speak of, and while the commute to Skinnengrad is a bit short, the reason why it's short is partly because you'll die from the fall. So really the skyship is only easily accessible from the city of Anvil. And inside the skyship itself, you'll find a quite frankly elegant home, with all the touches and exquisite wealth that you might not expect to find in such an unusual location. There's a sizable lounge and seating area right when you enter, with a lovely grand fireplace, and attached you'll find an alchemy lab with display cases, storage chests, and a complete journeyman alchemy set. And there's also a small alchemy garden here for gathering ingredients for your potion brews. On the second level, you'll find a dining room, again with a grand fireplace warming the room, and there's also an attached kitchen with a number of ingredients for cooking, and even a combined stove and oven for warming up a cozy meal. And really you'll notice the ship is really finely decorated with a lot of cozy and well-placed decorations to make the ship feel rather inviting, really. And of course there's also a master bedroom with yet another fireplace. There's really a lot of those in here, especially for a ship. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, does it? And there's some cozy seating nearby as well. And finally there's also a bathroom with a marble bathtub and toilet, and lots of flowers to make you feel at home. And finally, on the lower deck, you'll find a guest bedroom for any companions that you might have, and there's also a display hall with bookshelves, display cases, a display case for any Aeolid statues you might have, and also plenty of chests for storage. And overall, this is a fairly unique house mod that takes you to the skies, and while it doesn't have all the extra bells and whistles like the other house mods we looked at, it makes up for that with a warm and cozy environment with just fantastic views of Cyrodiil. And that pretty much wraps up the first episode of Oblivion House Mod Hunters. I hope you guys liked it, and I hope you'll check out some of these great house mods. And since this is a new series, I'm still working on the format a bit, and I'm open to hearing any suggestions you guys might have in terms of improvement. My goal really with this series is to make it a sort of weekly series covering 3 house mods a week, with perhaps some themed content in the future, like an episode for tree houses or an episode for assassin's lairs, or something of that nature. That's just something that'll be worked out in the future, I suppose. And anyway, thanks again for watching, and do let me know what you guys think about the format so far, and I'll see you all next week with a second episode of Oblivion House Mod Hunters, and also the second episode of Oblivion Modding Showcases. So till next time, I'll see you guys later.